to another dimension, surpassing the vastness of time and space. The Grand Thoughtmaturgist is here.
Wolfine, you make me heart sing. You make everything groovy. What's that, slub? Oh, Alright, Earthlings. Bloody lovely to see ya. So in this week's video I wanted to take a bit of a butcher's at wilderness travel. Utilising your party's progression from one adventure to another, whether that be from village to village, city to city, or solar system to solar system, is a great way of introducing further depth and challenge to your games. It's also a great way of helping your party explore the world that your adventures are set in. Travel in role-playing games is a fantastic tool, so let's have a little gander at some of the things that I'd suggest adding to your games. Many systems and settings used to include maps, together with ample sprinklings of lore to help GMs add a bit of flavour to their games. I used to find these maps absolutely fascinating when I started out, and I'd pore over their illustrated contours for hours wondering what secrets were to be discovered beneath those sprawling woodlands or atop those rugged mountain ranges. If you're planning on encouraging greater depth in your games, I would certainly recommend introducing your own maps. I think it's quite nice for players to be able to track their progress across the map. Maybe give the party their own map so they can fill in little details as they come across them. Doing this will give your party a visual representation of their local area, and may also reveal areas of interest for the party. There are plenty of things you can add during your party's travel that can add to the lore of your world. For instance, beyond the city walls, what lies in wait? Maybe you can include hints at horrible monsters that dwell in the wilderness. Are there echoes of previous civilizations, such as ruins, that could hint at the history of the place? Also, you could add a little bit of foreshadowing or hints at what else might lay beyond their immediate surroundings. If they're travelling hilly country or mountains, they'll have plenty of scope of what they can see. They might see castles in the distance, or a settlement nearby. You could use that view to foreshadow something terrible on the horizon. Maybe the multitude of fires from an advancing army. Perhaps your party's ship picks up some kind of signal, hinting that there might be something on a far-off planet. But simply travelling a landscape could give you the potential of showing what else is out there in reach of your party. Travelling about the wilderness of your group's world can also have the opportunity to sprinkle a little bit more life into it. For instance, what's the ecology? Do they hear birds song or insects as they move across some sort of forest? Maybe the mating calls of unknown creatures in the distance? Do they maybe see that ecology at work? Herds of herbivorous quadrupeds grazing the steppes, maybe? Plus, if there's a unique aspect to your world that your players may well come across while travelling, then it's definitely worth throwing it in. For example, you might have gravity-defying rocky outcrops smattering all over the place, or great rends and tears in the planetary crust itself, so don't be shy to chuck 'em in. Who knows what kind of strange and hitherto unseen worlds people could create. But by travelling from A to B is a way of introducing said strangeness. There's often a risk to travelling in the wilderness, either on planet or off, and it's down to the games master to determine how risky that is. A lot of folks like to introduce random encounter tables, which are a whole lot of fun, and I thoroughly support. And you may well want to introduce plenty of random opportunities for combat while your party travels around your world. They may well encounter a horrible group of road warriors who are roaming the post-apocalyptic wastelands. Maybe a monstrous predatory creature leaps from the bushes, hopeful for a cheeky little snack. Perhaps there are bandits patrolling the woods, waiting for some poor unsuspecting traveller to fall into their grasp. Depending on your system and setting, there may already be a list of horrible little sods that live in the wilderness. There could be packs of werewolves that live in the wild, or maybe there's plenty of territorial species with wandering war bands patrolling their lands. The frequency of your random encounters can also portray the danger of your wilderness. If you're trying to portray to your group that outside the city walls of your world it is a savage frontier filled with hundreds of lurking goblins and ghoulies, then it only makes sense to include plenty of dangerous encounters for your party to experience. But not every potential encounter that the party might come across has to be combat orientated. There may well be flavourful encounters that they come across. Perhaps they pass travelling merchants who may share some rumours of events from a nearby town or village, or share that someone may well be in need. Even simply happy to trade. Perhaps on a strange alien planet, your party stumbles across some sort of alien structure or relic. You can introduce decisions during these encounters. Perhaps there's a beggar on the side of the road asking for coin, or a wounded man. Will your party help them? Maybe somewhere down the line later on in the campaign, on a far-flung adventure, that charity might come back to them as a boon. Maybe it's a dying monster, a dying creature from an evil tribe. Will they help it? And if they do, later on down the line, will that open up the opportunity to extend good relations with that evil tribe? If you're travelling the cosmos, there's plenty of things that you might come across that don't have to be combat. The depths of space could be filled with asteroids, or comets, or other strange anomalies. They could be skill checks to avoid such things, or maybe through study it reveals information that could be valuable to someone else in a civilised area, in some far-off science station. They'd be happy to pay for that. Moving around between desolate post-apocalyptic cities, they might come across some kind of briefcase full of cash, or something of value at that period in time. Maybe the party might find an abandoned vehicle, but what's that in the boot? It could open up a whole new area. All these encounters have the potential to add some further adventure later on in the campaign, and each of them could add some lore. I think I'll end up diving a bit deeper into the old random encounters, so be sure to subscribe and click the old notifications so you're kept up to date with any new videos I chuck on. Simple things like speaking well to a trader and being friendly and allowing them to sit at their campfire might open up the possibility that if they go to a village 3 miles down the road, they'll have somewhere to stay. Look up old Bob, that's me. My family will put you up. Thanks for your charity. Sorted. Also, you can use travel to remind players of notable weather information to add immersion to your game. What climate are they in? What season are they travelling through? It's especially worth doing if you're running a system that includes extreme weather or temperature rules. If you've set your adventures in a wintry tundra, then travelling across the wilderness is an opportunity for you to reiterate the conditions your party is in. To help remind the party that it is the depths of winter, you can use the actual wilderness itself to challenge your party. And if you wanted to in your campaign, you could introduce things like cold damage and dehydration. I mean, it's down to you and your group if you want to make it as realistic as possible. But that kind of thing can challenge a group in a different way, outside the usual skill checks and combat roles, especially if you're playing in some kind of space adventure. If they're going to land on a planet, they've got a whole host of things to consider, such as gravity and atmosphere, to say just two. But what about the air? Is it breathable? What kind of fumes are there? Any space crew landed on some random planet might come across a number of random environmental hazards which are a little bit dangerous to their health. And lastly, for this wilderness travel video, there's the opportunity to add a little bit of a side quest or some other mini adventure that isn't necessarily involved with the main adventure that you've plotted, especially if you're running a pre-planned campaign. Perhaps your party comes across a cave system they want to explore. Perhaps they see some old tomb on the horizon they think we'll have a look. Perhaps there's rival gangs roaming the wasteland and they see some of them go past holding some hostage. It could just be a simple distress call while they're out in the depths of space. Do they respond to a distress call? Do they pick up the signal of some escape pod drifting in the dark? Each of those might well open up an opportunity to introduce a quick little side quest. You know, to mix it up a little. So there's just a few of my suggestions on how you can utilise travelling in your games. Take what you will, but I think it's one way of adding a little bit of richness to your worlds. And I've got a funny feeling we may well return to the old wilderness, so make sure you subscribe and hit the old bell. Let me know in the comments below if there's anything else you would have added, and I'll see you in the next video. See ya!